What do I mean by severe or not? You see, on one side, we say that, yeah, this is the seesaw. What do you call that in the middle? Fulcrum? Pivot? I know. Okay, so on one side, we say that Singapore is very export driven. How export driven are we? Do you know X is how many percent of GDP? It's more than 150. Yeah, more than 1.5 times. More than 150% of GDP. Really high. Yeah? So this means it should be severe. But yet on the other side, what do we have? Singapore has a small multiplier. Now, who can tell me why Singapore has a small multiplier? What do you think? Any reason why our multiplier is small? Hello. High NPM, very good. We have a high NPM because we are resource scarce, right? So a lot of what we buy has to come from imports. One more, Quintus, any idea why is our multiplier small? We have a large NPM, we have a large, very good. We have a large NPS as well. And this is really because of this thing called CPF. Okay, in the past election issue always about CPF, but more or less now they laid this thing to rest. Okay, so we have a high NPM, we have a high NPS. Primarily CPF, you could also say the culture of thrift. We are very thrifty in the Asian context. Okay. If you have a small multiplier, it actually suggests that the multiplied drop in national income is not as large. Oh, herein lies the contradiction. Which way does the seesaw tilt? One says it is severe. The other one says not so bad because our multiplier is small. Can you see a contradiction? Okay. So if you look at these two parts, which one do you think is heavier? The export-driven nature or the small multiplier? Jiaxue, any idea? This is not easy, but just intuitively speaking, which one do you think tends to lean heavily on one side? One or two? Do we say global recession? No need to worry. Singapore has a small multiplier. Anything that happens, we will not be affected by a lot. Or are we going to worry? Like the Prime Minister issues a video saying, oh no, the world is becoming more unpredictable and more volatile and more dangerous. Yes, Singapore will be worried, which means, if I get my physics right, it will tilt in this direction. I'm not crossing it out, just to be very clear. I'm tilting it, okay? Right? So this part dominates. But we cannot go with this argument that, hey, there's a small multiplier, so everything we don't have to worry. We don't need policy makers. That clearly is not true. Okay? So how do you express this? This is the proper way to write, okay? When you're expressing this in your essays, let's say the question is really about impact of a falling exports. We should say this, and this is the key word, notwithstanding. You all know what it means, right? It means in spite of, despite, regardless, okay? Notwithstanding Singapore's small multiplier, we always try to insert context, Singapore-specific stuff. Why? Level 3 criteria, you go and check the box. They will say balance analysis with economic analysis and context. Sometimes they say tied to the events in the preamble. Okay? So notwithstanding Singapore's small multiplier, you can add a bracket to add context. Owing to the large NPM, as Monish Bala mentioned, okay, due to its resource scarcity and large NPS, as Quintus mentioned, okay, due to CPF. Some teachers will say, I'm going to spell out CPF, you're going to define it. Well, sometimes in the exams, we don't have enough time. Some things, you can just leave it as such. Of course, if you have a lot of time, you go and write it up. I very much welcome you to do so, okay? So owing to large MPM due to resource scarcity, large MPS due to CPF, the export, can we not say export reliance? It's either export driven or import reliance. Don't go and mix them up. Okay? We can't say you're import driven. How do you drive yourself with imports? You can't. Okay? So the export driven nature of the Singapore economy, okay, where X is more than 150% of real GDP. If you wonder, how can this be the case? I thought CGI X minus N is my AD, and where it cuts my AS is real GDP. So how can X alone be more than 150%? Because you minus M, right? When you minus M, then it makes sense. Okay, the export-driven nature of the economy means that a fall in X, okay, hello, a fall in X can affect Singapore quite significantly. Okay, this is how you reconcile it. And believe it or not, this usually gets you evaluation credit. Okay.